Okay guys, we're gonna go over swapping out the pulleys on the front of the engine here. I had one viewer was asking me about wanting me to do a video on the harmonic balancer. I think what he was seeing was the fancy ass lower pulley and the water pump pulley I've got on this. These come from RJC Racing Products. I'll put up the link below the video. Jason makes some wonderful products for our cars. Now, from the guys that wanted to change these pulleys out from an aesthetic standpoint, you can buy the whole set. You'll notice I've only got the two on here. I've got the lower crank pulley and I've got the water pump pulley, which I picked up off of one of the locals. The lower pulley, I bought it from RGC brand new. Now, the reason that I bought these is not from an aesthetic standpoint, but to get the engine to spool up quicker. Basically, if you can get your rotating assembly, your engine rotating assembly lighter, it takes less energy to spin it up. Now, we're going to start from front to back. So your engine rotating assembly, basically, you're going to start from your pulleys at the front, and then the harmonic balancer, your crankshaft, connecting rods, pistons, piston pins, flywheel, and your torque converter. The easiest way I can explain this, guys, is if you have, say you have a piece of rope and you have a 5 pound weight attached to the end of it, and you take it and you start spinning it. Take the 5 pound weight off and then put the 10 pound weight on, and you'll notice it takes a hell of a lot more energy to try and spin that around than it does with the 5 pound. It's the same thing with your engine. The lighter you can get your rotating assembly, the faster it's going to spool up. It takes less energy to get it moving. Another easy way I can explain this is for you guys who swapped out the stock torque converter in the car and you've gone to a 9.5 or a 10 inch, you'll notice when you blip the throttle, the revs will come up a hell of a lot faster than when you had the great big heavy stock torque converter in. Reason being is the little 9 inch is a hell of a lot lighter than the 12 inch torque converter, or the 9.5 or 10 you put in it even. A lot lighter. So the more weight you can remove from your rotating assembly, the faster the engine will speed up. There's a great big, I'll put a link up for RGC Racing below the video. Jason has a write-up on all the physics, involved into removing weight from the your engine rotating assembly. Just go to Jason's site. Like I said, I'll put the link up. Click on products, click on pulleys, and Jason has a full write-up on removing weight from your rotating assembly. He'll explain it in a lot more detail than what I just did. Now, the front, if you've got the stock front pulley on your engine still, it weighs something like 8.5 pounds. This one from Jason, now this is a stock pulley. I don't know if you guys can see the holes in it or not. You can bolt the little fan on it if you've still got the stock intercooler. Now Jason also sells a complete race pulley. It doesn't have the holes in it, and it's a little bit lighter than this one. Now, like I said, the stock crank pulley itself comes in at like 8.5 pounds. This one comes in at 1 pound 10 ounces, and the full race one comes in a few ounces lighter. So you're saving 6.5 pounds right off the front of your rotating assembly, right off the hop. Other things you can get for these cars, engines, you can get lighter pistons, lighter piston pins, connecting rods, list goes on and on. But anyway, that's the basic summation of all of this, guys. Try and get your rotating assembly as light as possible. This is a really cheap and inexpensive way of doing it. And once again, most of you guys have already gone to a 9.5 or a 10 inch torque converter, and that lets the engine spool up a tad quicker as well. Anyway, for the guys that want the aesthetics, you can buy the complete pulley set from Jason. You can buy one at a time, depending on what your pocketbook can handle. Strictly from a racing standpoint, the lower pulley is the one you guys are looking for. That's the one there that saves a crap load of weight off your rotating assembly. Grab it off Jason. Anyway, once again, guys, thanks so much for watching the videos, and have a great evening. Take care.